Hi everyone. I can see there are people out here. I want you to comment over here in the section below and tell me your names first of all. I should know that who's watching the video right now. And I should know everybody's name. So, hi everyone. Dennis says hi. Hi Dennis. Dennis, are you a GCSE kid? I wonder. Aren't you in 11 plus as far as I remember? Yes, Dennis? Tell me. Okay, so everybody, welcome to Glecta. For the people who are new over here, let me just quickly tell you about what is Glecta, and then we'll be starting with the GCSE algebra. Today we are going to do the basic questions. I'm going to introduce algebra on a very basic level so that you know exactly that what kind of basic and easy questions can be asked in your GCSEs. The questions that we're going to do today have been asked in your exams previously, in your GCSE exams, and they may seem very basic, but since they have been asked in your exam, I'll be using them to clear all your concepts, the basic concepts of algebra. And then in our next upcoming sessions, you know, we can take up to the advanced level like higher quadratic equations and all of that, right? But first of all, for the people who are new over here, Glecta is an online learning platform which provides online classes, and all you have to do is sit at your home, relax in your bedrooms and take classes with us. It's as easy as that, right? So now what exactly are we going to cover today? We're going to cover algebra for GCSEs, where we learn how to solve equations. I mean, I've taken basic linear equations for today, the factorization quadratic formula. So I'm going to start with a very basic question. Tell me one thing. I want you guys to answer me in the comment section below. Tanishka says hi. Hi Tanishka. So I want you guys to answer me in the comment section below. What do you understand by the term equation? Just talking about the basic. I want to know what basic understanding of algebra you have. What is the term equation? Any expression if I write, like if I'm writing 2x plus 5y or 3x square plus 2x plus 7. This, what is this? I have written a few letters and I have written a few numbers together, right? And when I have combined these terms together, this would be called an expression. This is an expression. But if I put the same 2x plus 5y equal to something, let's say it is equal to 0, then it becomes equation. So anything, like any expression which involves an equal to sign becomes an equation. In the left side, I have written the same terms. That's an expression, and 3x square plus 2x plus 7 equals to something. That is an equation. Now, when I talk about linear, what do we understand by linear? You must have heard about linear equations, quadratic equations, right? So what exactly are they? When I talk about degree 1, what do we mean by degree? Degree means the highest power of the variable. The highest power of my variable. For example, if I write, I'm writing a few equations. 2x plus 7 equals 0, 3x square plus 5x plus 3 equals 0, 3x cube plus 4x square plus 10 equals to 2. I've written 3 equations. Over here in the first one, there is just an x. Nothing is like multiplied with x. No variable is multiplied with x. So I would say the degree of the variable is 1. And when I say degree 1, that's what we call a linear equation. Alright? Then when the degree over here is 2, like you can see, 3x square. The highest power of x is 2. So that's what you call a quadratic equation. Then number 3, 3x cube, x cube, power 3. This kind of an equation is called cubic equation. we mainly study these kinds of equations, quadratic, linear, cubic and all of that. Alright, so I hope the basics are clear. Starting with the very basic of algebra about how we solve a linear equation. Now what about that? Like I have to add all of these. Just see what are the values of x. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many times have I written x? I have written it 6 times. So 6x equals 24. Divide by 6 on both the sides. This will give you the answer x equals 4. A very, very simple question. Similarly, if I want to solve 3x plus 10 equals to 3x plus 7 equals to 10. You do 3x equals 10 minus 7, which gives you, see, how am I solving this equation? Although this is very basic, but I want you to go through the basics as well so that you do not face any problem when we will be doing quadratic equations. That's the next part after this, solving quadratics. If I want to solve this, 7 is positive over here in algebra, like in this equation. And if I shift it on the other side, I'm separating it from my variable. So it will become negative. Whatever is positive along with my variable, shift it on the other side, it becomes negative. So 3x equals 3. Now you can simply divide by 3 on both the sides. So this gives you x equals 1, right? Then 8t equals 64. 8t means that we are doing 8 times t. So t equals 64 divided by 8, which is equal to 8. You're doing the opposite. You're dividing, right? It was being times on the left side. Now we're going to divide. That was a very, very basic one. Now coming to substitution. The word substitution means putting or replacing the value of the variable with some number that is given to you, right? For example, if I say x plus 5, I've just given you an expression, x plus 5. What will be the value of the expression if x is equal to 2? I want you guys to keep commenting with me on the comment section, alright? I want everybody of you out there to speak out, give your answers and everything. So if I'm using this, I mean put x, replace x with, let's say, 4. What will be the value of the function if x equals 4, right? Then we would just replace this x with 4 and write 4 plus 5, which is 9, right? So the value of the value of the expression when x equals to 4, that's 9. Okay, Emily says hello miss, Bella Jen says hi miss. Hi everybody. Yes, Tanishka is getting the correct answer. Alright, I want you guys to try this one on your own. Let's see how many of you are able to do it. Now this is a very simple question of substitution. What exactly are we doing? We are not just substituting one value, we are substituting UAT. 3 values of the variables in one single equation. Okay, I can help you out with this one over here, but then I want you to try the next question on your own, and that question has been asked in your previous years, right? So let's try that. And that question of basic substitution, that was for 3 marks, alright? So when we solve this, V equals, U is 5, A is 12 times 5. 12 times 5 is 60, 60 plus 5 is 65. Very good, Tanishka, you're getting the correct answer. Alright, now this question, imagine such easy question in your GCSE exams for just 3 marks, right? Again, very easy. S equals half AT square. A is 4, replace it by 4. AT means A times T. And if we have T square, 2 square is 2 times 2. 3 square is 3 times 3. So T square means T times T. So this is going to be 6 times 6 plus U is negative 2. Whatever negative numbers you're substituting, Substitute them in a bracket actually, that will really help you. So negative 2 times t, so that means times 6. Now let's try to make our calculations a little easier. 4 divided by 2, 2. 2 times 6 times 6, 36. 36 times 2, 72. And you have to do 72. Negative 2. So you would do minus 2 times 6, 12. So your answer, okay, nobody has given me answers in the comment section. What happened, guys? I told you that you should try this question on your own and I was expecting answers from you guys in the comments. Come on. I want you guys to be active in comments. Otherwise, it doesn't feel like there is anybody over here in front of me. Of course, you know, I can't see you guys, right? So I want you guys to comment about what you are, you know, perceiving, if you are understanding or not. After every question, if you understand, give me a thumbs up. That would also do. If you do not want to answer the question, just give me a thumbs up if you have understood. That's all I want you to do. So keep doing that, alright? Otherwise it feels like there are robots sitting in front of me, right? So if I want to solve this, 72 minus 12, simply 60 is my answer. Alright, now moving on to the next part, which is expanding and factorizing. Now this is the part where the GCSE levels little bit, you know, kind of begin. Right, but before we move on, I would want everybody of you to join our Telegram group. Make sure that you have liked this video, alright, and subscribe to our channel. I told you that today we are studying the basics. In the next session, we may go to our intermediate or advanced level of algebra. This session is just to clear out all your basics of algebra so that you never face any kind of difficulty. I'm picking up questions of solving equations, substitutions, so if anybody is, you know, having confusion with that, they can see it over here. Alright. And also join our Telegram groups if you guys, you know, want to send us any kind of questions, like in your schools. In math especially, we receive a lot of questions which we are unable to solve. So if you have joined our Telegram group, just post that question in the group and you'll get the answer in 24 hours, like within 24 hours. That's what at least I try to do. I try to answer as soon as possible. Within 24 hours, I can assure you that you'll be getting the solution. So instead of waiting for the class and then asking the questions, you guys can, you know, just post your whatever questions you have in that group. And in the comment section below, if you see, you know, they have mentioned the link for our Telegram group. You can just click on that and then you know, you'll be directed over there. Also, we'll be giving you a free mock test as well for your GCSEs. It's not just algebra, it consists of all the mixed kinds of questions, and there are some mixed exam questions in those papers that you know, you'll be receiving. So make sure that you download the mock test and try that as well. Alright, now coming to the part expanding and factorizing. See, these two terms are literally the opposite of each other. As you know, expand brackets. First of all, let's see single brackets. Like, what do brackets mean? Remember, whenever you see brackets, closed curves, it means that you are multiplying. So if I write 2 times x plus 5. See, if this 2 was just being multiplied with x, then I would have just written 2x separately plus 5. But since I have written it in a brackets, what are we seeing? This means that 2 is being multiplied by both x as well as 5. So this would be equal to 2 times x plus 2 times 5, which is 10. That is how you solve single brackets. That was pretty easy. Now coming to, you know, expanding double brackets. Now over here, if you feel that you're very confused about how to expand double brackets, remember the word FOIL. What does FOIL stand for? F stands for first, O stands for outside, I stands for inside, and L stands for last. So what exactly are we going to do? First multiply the first 2 terms of the brackets, x times x, which is x square. Then you see the outside terms. Over here, x is on the outside in the first bracket, and in the second bracket, negative 3 is on the outside. So you multiply these outside terms. So this becomes x times minus 3. So minus 3x. Then you guys would do x times, then you multiply the inside terms, right? So what is on the inside? 7 and x. 7 is on the inside of the first bracket, x is on the inside of the second bracket. And since the sign is positive, see, signs are really very important when you are multiplying. So x square minus 3x plus 7x. And then the last two terms, the last term of the first bracket 7 and the last term of the second bracket negative 3. So 7 times negative 3, that is negative 21. Now you collect your like terms together. So x square as it is, then you have minus 3x plus 7x, which is plus 4x. Minus 21 as it is. So I can see that Tanishka has given me the correct answer. Very good, Tanishka. And now I want you guys to try out the second question. It's kind of very similar. So Tanishka has already answered me, but I'm not going to tell if Tanishka's answer is correct or not. I want you guys to try the second question till then I'm having a water break. And by the way, I hope that all of you have downloaded the mock tests that have been mentioned in the comments, alright? And if you feel like you want to ask questions, click on the Telegram group and you can, or save the link for later. It will be available in the description below as well. So you don't really need to do it right away, but make sure that you're doing it right after the class. So guys, I'm waiting for your answers. Come on. What is this v minus 3 whole square? Now when you're writing squares outside the brackets, that means you're multiplying these brackets twice. So over here, what do we have? We have v minus 3 times v minus 3. This is what it means. So this is going to be v square. Then the inside terms, first two terms, then the outside terms, that is minus 3v. Then we have the inside terms, that is minus 3v again. And the last two terms, minus 3 times minus 3, which is plus 9. So this is v square minus 6v plus 9. Very good, Tanishka. Now you can see that you are getting the correct answer. That's great. But now, what we are going to do is, we're going to learn factorization. What do we understand by factorize? The word factorize is the opposite of expansion. Now if you see over here, if I give you x square plus 4x minus 21, can you tell me that how can I write it in the form of two separate brackets? Anybody? Let's see. So that's the technique of factorization. That's what we are going to learn today. So whenever I have my quadratic equation, now first of all understand the concept of quadratic equation. Like I told you in the beginning of the class, quadratic equation is an equation when the highest power of the variable is 2. So the general form of quadratic equation is this: ax square plus bx plus c, right? So I'm just telling you a simple way. Whenever you do not have any a, or let's say a is equal to 1, and you have this equation, you want to factorize it, what exactly are you going to do? You're going to think of just two numbers whose sum is the coefficient of x. Coefficient means the number that is being multiplied with x, and the product is the constant term. This c which has got nothing to do with x, it's just being added in my terms, right? So you have to think of two numbers. So if you compare the general equation that I have written and the equation or the term that I have written on the left side, over here b, that is the coefficient of x, that is the number that is being multiplied by x. Over here, that's 15. So I need to think of two numbers whose sum, that is when I add those numbers, when I add them I get 15, and product is the constant term which has got nothing to do with x, that is 36. So I need to think of two such numbers. When I add them up, that's 15, and when I multiply them, it's 36. For that, just look at the factors of 36. I'm writing 36 in a corner. I know 1 times 36 is 36, but 1 plus 36 is 37. Not 15, but I want 15. So 2 times 18, that is 36. But again, 2 plus 18 is 20. If I see, let's say 3 times 12. Okay, 3 times 12 is 36, and 3 times 12 is 36, and 3 plus 12, that is 15, right? So I'm getting these numbers. Also, okay, over here I can see Tanishka has said x plus 4 times x plus 9. Darling, when you multiply 4 and 9, just see the last terms. 4 times 9, that is 36, which is correct. But when you do 4x plus 9x, 4 plus 9 is 13, not 15. Alright, so be a little careful over there. I'm getting the two numbers as 3 and 12. So I'm just going to write x plus 3 times x plus 12. So these are my brackets. That's it. So what was our main task over here? I just had to identify two numbers whose sum is 15, product is 36. Now let's see how many can answer the second question on their own. Okay, Tanishka has already done that, but sorry darling, that's a little bit incorrect. Not completely incorrect, I would say, but you know, in quadratic equations, you have to take care of the signs when you're solving. What is positive, what is negative. Now if I have a look over here, I need two numbers. First of all, see what should be the sum. Okay, let me erase it actually. Think of two numbers whose sum is this. Sum has to be b, that is the, you know, the number that is being multiplied by x, and product has to be c. You can write it in a side so that you can keep comparing it side by side. So sum has to be, what number is being multiplied by x? Now it shows -8, right? Take care of the minus sign. Sum has to be -8, not just 8. And product has to be 7. Okay, Tanishka, yes, sorry. You're getting the correct answer, I think. Yes, you're getting the correct answer. I saw that as positive and, you know, my bad. I saw that sign as positive and I thought that this is incorrect. But no, you're getting it correct. Great. So if I see product is 7, the factors of 7, that's just 1 and 7. But when I add them up, 1 plus 7, that is 8. I want the sum to be -8, right? So what we can do is, when the product of two numbers is positive and the sum is negative, that means both of them are definitely negative. You know, your basic rule, minus times minus is equal to positive. So instead of 1 and 7, let's take -1 and -7. So over here, I'm just going to directly write it as x minus 1 times x minus 7. So very good, Tanishka, you're actually getting the correct answer. It's just my mistake that I saw it as positive. Alright, so I hope you guys understood about how we are factorizing. Take care of the positive signs and negative signs, about where we have to consider the sum to be positive or where do we have to consider it as negative. Let's have a quick, you know, let's quickly try this question. X square plus 10x plus 25. So sum, that's the number being multiplied by x, 10. Product has to be 25. Now what's the difference between the previous question and this question? See, if I see the factors of 25, it's 1, 5 and 25. 1 plus 5, 6. 5 plus 25, that's equal to 30. So I don't think I'm getting the sum as 7. Actually you can. You can take repeated factors as well. For example, if I see 5, 5 plus 5, 5 plus 5 is 10. 5 times 5 is 25, isn't it? So just don't see the factors about what numbers are the factors, but also see the repeated factors. These are actually called as repeated factors, right? So I can expand it as, right, since we are taking 5 and 5, so we are just going to write x plus 5 times x plus 5. As simple as that. Okay, what if, let me take the same questions. I'm just writing the solutions that we got. Over here we got x plus 3 times x plus 12, and over here we got x minus 1 times x minus 7. Now I'm twisting my question a little bit. What if I ask you to solve for the value of x? Instead of factorizing, let's say the question is solve the following. Solve the following. Whenever we have questions of solving, we would be given an equation. This would be equal to 0, let's say. Alright, so that means when I have factorized it, my answer is coming out to be 0. Now just think about it. When I multiply two numbers, two different numbers, when can I have the answer as 0? Like, can I get 2 times 3? 0. Of course not. But yes, 2 times 0 could be 0, or 0 times 3 can be 0. That is, if I take any one of the numbers to be 0, then I can say that the product is 0. So I can say either the first bracket is equal to 0, or, see, I'm using the word or, x plus 12 equals 0. Or it could be both as well, because 0 times 0 is also 0, isn't it? So I can just solve this equation and write x equals negative 3 and x equals negative 12. Remember that when you're solving a quadratic equation has power 2. So you'll always get 2 solutions. And if you're not getting 2 solutions, then that means maybe you've done something incorrect. I mean, if you do not get a solution, that's also the case we are going to see. See, the maximum that we can get is 2 solutions. We may also have 1 solution, but that's the case when we will be having repeated factors. I'll explain that to you as well. In the next one, either x equals, now you don't need to put the entire bracket equal to 0 every single time. Very good, Tanishka. Either x equals 1 or x equals 7. Just change the signs, right? Now the next one. When I had x plus 5 times x plus 5 equals 0. Now if I put the first bracket 0, I'm getting negative 5. When I put the second bracket equal to 0, again I'm getting negative 5. So now you would say, okay, miss, you just told that when we have a quadratic equation, we always get 2 solutions. But now we are getting just 1 single solution. It's not actually 1 single solution. I'm going to write it 2 times. That's why I told you these are repeated factors. Whenever you're solving a quadratic equation, those values of x which give you the entire quadratic expression to be 0, they are called roots of the equation. Roots of the equation. Like when we solved x equals negative 3 and negative 12 over here. So these would be referred as the roots. When I did x equals 1 and 7, this would also be called as roots. I would say roots of the equation are 1 and 7. If I'm taking negative 5, over here we would say roots of the equation are negative 5. But since I have written it twice, these would be called repeated roots. That's the technical language. They may ask you in your GCSEs like with a technical twist, like find the repeated roots of the equation. That means they're ultimately asking you to solve the equation by putting it equal to 0. Just remember the basic concept. Now, what if I want to factorize this kind of an expression? Now over here, x square and 16. I don't see any number that is being multiplied by x, right? Because earlier we were doing, okay, sum has to be b. There is no b over here, neither over here, neither over here. So what shall I do? So this is a little different and pretty much very important, because in your GCSE exams, there would always be one question related to this concept. This concept is, the difference of squares. This is called difference of squares. So they could ask you directly or they could ask you indirectly to solve this. Indirectly means that it could be a part of some question where this quadratic, where expansion is being used or factorization is being used. It could be a word problem as well. So just remember a simple basic formula. A square minus b square. Sorry. When you are subtracting two squares, you can expand or you can factorize them as 8 minus b. First subtract them, take their difference, and once you can add them. Just remember this basic formula. So let's see over here when I have x square minus 16. See, x square minus 16 can be written as x square minus 4 square. Write the second term as the square of a number. So this formula that I told you, you can, why am I saying expanding again and again? See, these are two related terms. It's factorization. So when I, when I factorize them, it's going to be x minus 4 times x plus 4. So Tanishka, I think you are going to win an award next time for answering the most questions in today's class. Very good, Tanishka, keep it up. Now for the next one. Again, let's try to write them as squares of proper numbers. So 9x square. 9 is 3 and let's write x as it is. And using my laws of indices, you can put a bracket outside. You can, put this power outside the brackets. And 100 is 10 square, of course. So when you factorize it, okay, this time I spoke correct. So this is going to be 3x minus 10 times 3x plus 10. That's it. Then when we have 49a square minus 121b square. Again, try to write them as, as perfect squares. So if I want to write this, 49 is 7 square. 121, that is 11 square. So this is just going to give me the answer as 7a minus 11b times 7a plus 11b. Alright, I hope you guys understood it. Okay, tell me one thing, are you guys even understanding? Give me a thumbs up. Because I can see that, you're not really much active. Come on, be active. I told you that you have to be active in the comment section. Okay, let's pause quadratic equations for a minute. I'm just going to ask you a general question. And then I'll be coming back to quadratic equations. And then let's see how many people can answer it. I'll give you 5 minutes to think about the answer. And then I'll come back to the answer. So the question is, suppose you're in a room. See, in math, everything starts with a supposition, like suppose this is happening, imagine this is happening. So suppose you're in a room and there are 7 people, right? And I'm saying that you have to shake hands with everyone, but you have to shake hands with everyone only once. You can't repeat your, shaking hands. So what do you think? How many handshakes are going to be there when you shake hands with everyone and not repeat them? I'm repeating the question. There are 7 people in the room. The 7 people want to shake hands with everyone, but they are not repeating. Right? One person will shake hands only once with everybody. Right? So how many handshakes do you think are going to be there? Now I'm going to wait for your answer in the comment section. Or if you do not find an answer, let's save it for the next time. Let's see if anybody answers or not. Coming back to my quadratic equations. Now this topic, quadratic formula. Like, oh my God. If I speak the quadratic formula, okay, how many of you guys have learned the quadratic formula? I want to know. Not everybody learns it although, because they are so dependent on the formula sheet that will be provided. But if anybody asks me the quadratic formula, of course it's on my tips. It's negative b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. That's how you should have learnt the quadratic formula. Why do you want to waste your time in your exams to look over the quadratic, the quadratic formula or any other formula in the formula sheet? Some basic formulas should be over here, stored over here, and you'd be easily be able to apply them. You would save a lot of time in your exams. So, okay, I'm going to write it also for the people who just, couldn't hear what I said. So, x equals negative b. Okay, I'm solving the equation ax square plus bx plus c. See, I may not always be able to factorize this equation, a quadratic equation. In that case, to find out the value of x, I'm going to use my quadratic formula. And how do we use this quadratic formula, or actually how do we get this quadratic formula? Where are we getting this such a difficult looking formula from? For that, I'll tell you the concept. It is related to completing the square methods, and that's what you'll be studying in your AS levels. Like if you opt maths in year 12, that's the thing that you study while doing completing the square method. So the proof is a different part which is not in the curriculums of GCSEs, but yes, of course, the formula is. Alright, so let's see how we can apply this formula. You just need to compare your original equation or the equation that has been given to you with the general form. You know, when ax square plus bx plus c equals 0, then x equals negative b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? Now you have this equation x square plus 7x plus 3. Just compare these two equations. See what will be the value of a, b and c. That's all you need to judge. So if I see a equals, what number is being multiplied by x square? A is the number that is being multiplied by x square. If nothing is written, you're just going to write a 1. So if I say x, what number is being multiplied by x? Nothing is mentioned. So I'll just write a 1. Then b equals 7 and c equals 3. b is the number that is being multiplied by x. I have 7x in my equation, so I'll write b equals 7. That's all you had to do. Now you're just going to use your calculator. In quadratic formula is usually asked in your non-calculator paper, and sorry, in your calculator exam, and if they're asking you this in the non-calculator paper, then they would give you questions like this, where you would be expected to answer in surd form, right? But coming back over here, when I have to solve this, I just have to put the equation over here. So x equals negative b means negative 7 and plus minus. What is this plus minus? I'll explain that as well to you. One time you have to add it, one time you have to subtract it. So plus square root of b square is 49, that means 7 square, minus 4ac, 4 times a is 1 times 3 divided by 2 times 1. This is negative 7 plus minus square root of 49 minus 12, which is going to be, okay, wait, no, yeah, sorry, 49 minus 12, which is going to be 37 divided by 2. Now, what do we understand this? One time you have to add it and one time you have to subtract it. That's what plus minus means over here. So if I'm going to do it, okay, let me divide it in two parts. Once I'm adding, so you do negative 7 plus 37 divided by 2, or plus minus. So minus 7 minus 37 divided by 2. See your answers on your calculators. Of course, you can use your scientific calculators. If you guys have the calculators, quickly calculate the answer. Also, we are mentioning the Telegram group details simultaneously on text on the comment section. So if in case you have any confusion, you can join our Telegram group and post up the questions over there. I'll get back to you with the questions either in the live session if it's a common doubt, or we can take them up in classes as well. Alright, but I'll definitely give you a solution for all the questions that you post in our Telegram group. Okay, coming back over here, let me quickly calculate it on my calculator. So when I'm doing this, when I'm adding, I'm going to get let's say negative 0.917, or I'm getting negative 13.083. But that's to 3 decimal places, right? In my question, they have given me, I have to round off to 2 decimal places. So you should also know the concept of rounding. So if I round off to 2 decimal places, see the second digit that is there after the decimal. I have 1 over here. After 1, I have 7. So that 7 is going to be the deciding factor. If the number is greater than or equal to 5, you round it off to the next number. If the number is less than 5, like between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that ways, then you're going to keep the number as it is. So this is just going to be negative 0. I have 7, greater than 5. So instead of 1, we write the next number that is there after 1, which is 2. Can anybody tell me in the comment section what will be the value of like negative 13.083 to 2 decimal places? I want you guys to answer me on text. So is anybody getting the answer? This is going to be negative 13. Tanishka, very good. That is going to be negative 13.08. That's it. Now if I have this question, again a very similar question, but this time you have to round it off to 3 significant figures, and I'm pretty sure that you can do it very easily. So if you want, you guys can mark this as your homework. There is a difference when we round it off to decimal places and when we round it off to significant figures. Alright, so you guys have to solve it and try it on your own. Dennis says no. Nope for what? Not marking this as your homework. See, it's up to you. The more you practice, the more you're going to understand the concept, isn't it? So this question, you can try it on your own. Moving on to the next one. See, in the previous questions, I was definitely saying that, okay, thumbs up for the calculator. Now, I do not want you guys to use calculator in this one. Let's see how we can solve this equation without a calculator. And I have to answer in surd form. So, when I have x square plus 6x negative 11 equals 0. Again, just write it, x equals negative b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. And if I see a is 1, b is 6, and c is negative 11. So over here, x is going to be negative 6 plus minus square root of b square is 36 minus 4ac. So 4 times 1 times negative 11 upon 2 times 1. That's it. So x equals negative 6 plus minus square root of 36 plus 44. That's going to give you 36 plus 44. When you solve it, you'd be getting square root of 80 divided by 2. But in my, question, I have to always give the answer in simplest form, right? So you're going to solve this surd 80. So this is a little bit concept of, surds. How can I simplify a surd? If you want me to go through surds in a different class, you can just mention me in the comment section below, and we can take up surds and indices as well in the upcoming live classes. You can mention me the kinds of topics that you're facing problem with, and that's what we'll be taking up in our next upcoming sessions. For now, just explaining you a basic concept of surd. Whenever you have a square root, and you know that 80 is not a square number, but you need to simplify it. Try to write this 80 as a multiple of some perfect square so that you can separate it. Can I write 80 as a multiple of a perfect square? Yes, I can. 16 times 5. So you can basically separate this. Separate 16 and 5. Square root of 16 times square root of 5. I hope you guys can see whatever is written behind me. Alright. So now square root of 16, that is 4, and square root of 5, I can't simplify it. Alright. So I'll just write it 4 surd 5. So I'm going to write it as -6 plus minus 4 surd 5 divided by 2. And since we have fractions over here, alright, so what are we going to do? Separate them. -6 divided by 2, that is -3, plus minus, keep the sign as it is, 4 divided by 2 is 2, so -3 plus minus 2 surd 5. That will be your answer. So Tanishka says, please can we do probability for next lesson? Alright Tanishka, I'll get back to you with this one. If the common doubt is probability, then definitely we can take a probability in the next lesson. But I would like to know which level, because year 9 probability is different, year 10 probability is different, and year 11 it consists of all kinds of questions that can be asked. So you can actually just let me know about what level of probability do you really want to do. Alright, and then I'll get back to you. Also, Tanishka, if you have problems in certain particular questions, I would recommend you to join the Telegram group, and the link is mentioned, so that you can take up classes, so that you can take up your doubts over there in the group. Alright, so you said year 11. Alright darling, so basically it consists of the whole of probability, including the questions of Venn diagrams as well, right? Probability, the AND rules, there are OR rules. So alright, we can take that up, not a problem with it. I hope everybody understood this concept. This is pretty basic and pretty easy, and I would say that we have this last question for today. I'm just going to give you a hint of the question, and I want you to try this question on your own, and then we'll be doing more of algebra in our upcoming sessions. I'm going to take up this question again. Alright, see, in your algebra today, as I said, we did only the basics, so that all your basic levels of algebras are cleared. But there is a lot more in algebra. If I talk about the advanced section, there is completing the square method, right? Then you have solving surds as well, indices as well, which can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Completing the square methods, quadratic graphs are there, linear graphs are there, finding out the gradient is there. So of course we can't cover all of that algebra in just one session. So that's why I started with the basic, so that all your concepts are clear, and then we can work out the advanced level as well. So I'll name that section separately as algebra advanced when we'll be doing it in future. I'm just going to give you a hint for this one, and as I said, the last question for today. See, I have to show that this equation is true. How am I going to do it? The figure says that this is a right angle triangle, and you know that in your right angle triangle, you always follow up the Pythagoras theorem. What is Pythagoras theorem? When you have a right angle triangle, the square of, the sum of squares of two sides is equal to the square of third side. So a square plus b square equals c square. And that's exactly that we are going to use. All you have to do is do x plus 1 squared plus x plus 2 squared. Put it equal to the square of the second side, like the third side, that is the hypotenuse, and you're going to solve it. We have learned about how we expand the brackets, how we can expand the squares when they're, the entire brackets are being squared, and I want you guys to try it on your own. So I hope you try this. I want you to answer me in the next session, because that's where I'll be starting with, when we do the next session of algebra. This is the question that we are going to start with. So I hope that every one of you understood whatever we discussed today. Although also I would want you guys to be more active in the next live class. Alright, in case you have any confusion, you can always mention that to me in the comments section. As I told you, that completing the square method, that's a little bit advanced level. So that's what we are going to do in Algebra Advanced. Just giving you the glimpse of the questions. So that would be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. And Tanishka, congratulations. I mean, I'm really proud of you. You answered the most amount of questions today, like the maximum questions. And you were able to do almost all of the questions correctly. So very good, darling. Keep it up. And if you guys, along with math, if you guys want help with chemistry as well, Glecta is coming up with the next live class of chemistry on 1st of October, the same time. Alright, so you can join in for the event on that day as well. So to keep updated, to keep yourself updated, make sure that you have subscribed to our channel. And of course, one thing to do, like this video, share it with all of your friends, and if you know that your friends are struggling with the basics of algebra, share it with all of them. Alright, so that would be all for today. Thank you so much for joining us. That's all from my side. Hope to see you soon very again. Bye bye everybody. Take care.